Hello and welcome once again to What's Out There, the paranormal podcast from the Out There Paranormal Group. And yes, we are back. Talking for you tonight, I have myself, Nigel.
And myself again, Juliette.
Hooray! The gang's back in town.
We're back.
It's been a while, so we're sorry, folks, because real life has interfered in our lives and it's been very, very difficult to get ourselves both together to be able to record.
It has. Real life sucks sometimes, doesn't it?
It certainly does, yeah. We've had our fair share of it. Not just recently, me and you. Anyway, we're not going to go into that. Instead, we're going to record a lovely podcast for you. And there are some things that we need to clear up from our last one.
Yes.
Fact or folklore? We did a icebreaker where we told you 3 stories about ourselves, and 2 were true, 1 was fake. So we're now going to tell you which ones of our stories were fake to see whether or not you actually got it right.
I'm trying to even remember what they were.
Can you remember?
No.
Can you remember about the grabbing the pilot's testicles?
Oh my goodness me. Yes, I can.
How could you forget that?
What were the... I can't remember them now because it was a while ago since we did the podcast.
You said about grabbing the pilot's testicles.
Yes, that was one.
Belly dancing.
Yes.
And hand modelling.
Yes.
Yeah.
They were my 3. And what were your 3?
And my 3 were, oh my God.
See?
Medals for ballroom and Latin American dancing.
Yes.
Being in the qualifying for the Olympic swimming team.
Yes.
And I can't remember the last one, winning medals for my privates.
Yes, that's right.
Painting
that's
soldiers
right.
in competitions.
So go on, Nigel, reveal yours.
Okay, mine is swimming. In fact, I was terrified of water as a child and I didn't learn to swim till I was 40.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Hard to believe it. I swim every week now and I love it, but...
You do?
Yeah, I couldn't, honestly. Just could not
You
swim.
take Anna, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
And my one was hand modelling. Yes, the others are true. Did I actually grab my pilot's testicles? Yes, I did. It was highly embarrassing. I don't think anybody else on this planet has had a similar experience when learning to fly. But yes, these things tend to happen to me.
Dear.
And I had a bit of a panic attack up in an aeroplane, and I went to grab the edge of my seat. And as anyone knows, that when you are up in these diddly little planes, yes, there's not a lot of room. And so it was highly embarrassing. I think the young man involved actually enjoyed the experience.
He lunged him for his joystick. Yeah.
I just wanted to leave, but of course I was stuck up in the air for quite some time. So the embarrassment continued until I got down on the ground. But yes, that's Juliette's humdinger for today.
There we go. And the other thing, of course, we were talking about on the podcast was the fact that we told you 3 stories. 2 of the stories are actually based on historical fact, and one of them was a popular folklore tale. And the popular folklore tale was the story from Acle, the Josiah Burge and the Pool of Blood on the bridge. The other 2 are actually true murders that took place in Norfolk, and the stories attached to them are genuine, which is really quite creepy. I think the one about the lady's name, I can't remember. God, she's terrible, isn't it? Was really, really sad.
Isn't it?
It is, yeah.
It's because we're old.
It's because we are old. We're getting on a bit now, aren't we? Yeah. Time is ticking for us, Juliette.
Old people.
Indeed, which brings us quite nicely onto the subject for this podcast.
Indeed you do.
We're going to talk about a really cheery subject. Actually, you can blame some of this partly on our lovely friend Liz Barkley, because she put this idea in my head, talking on an Uncanny Community, I do believe, Uncanny Community Zoom call about, they were talking about death omens and harbingers, and she wasn't entirely certain what they were, but she was talking about a Scottish version of the Banshee. I am not even going to try and say its name, but it's...
Oh, go on.
Oh,
go on.
K-O... Yeah, it's spelled C-O...
This is where we need Liz, isn't it?
A-I-N-E-A-G.
We need Liz on this one.
Yeah, so if you you should come on, Liz, and tell us how to say it. But yeah, it's a harbinger. It's basically something that warns you of impending doom or an impending death. And a form of banshee, obviously the banshee is an Irish spirit, which takes the form of a wailing woman that sort of comes along to warn you that someone in your family is going to die. Okay, in folk myth, the banshee originated from the death of a professional mourner known as a keener or crier. Keeners were employed at funerals and wakes to mourn for the dead by moaning, chanting, crying, etc. And you can find examples of this in sort of popular novels and writings and things. But that's where it actually came from, and it sort of developed into this like myth of a person, often a woman. It's always a woman that turns up all white, dishevelled.
Why is it always women, though?
I don't know.
Is it because men wrote these stories?
Possibly.
You know,
Could
and
be.
they moaning, waily women. You know, why couldn't a banshee be male?
It could be. Yeah. You know, I've done it now, haven't I? I've tied myself up in knots with it, so I really shouldn't have said that, should I?
No,
but
I'm joking.
yes, they are women, normally sort of said to be women, and there's lots of different forms of them. So what I'm going to do, rather than harp on about banshees, I'm going to write this one up for our newsletter on
Okay.
Substack, but we're going to talk about some other harbingers, some lovely death omens.
We are indeed.
Things through the ages that have been sort of told as a tale of things to come.
So, here we go. Cue the cure.
I'll show you in spring, it's a treacherous thing. Miss you, yes. Love cats. We
So, you might have guessed it, guys. The next one is all about kitty cats.
We have our own.
Izzy the ghost cat.
Yeah, I know where she is at the moment.
I don't know. She was here a moment ago, but she's gone off with her little bell.
Oh, there we go. She'll come back later on and disturb us.
Yeah,
She
when
always
she wants
does.
feeding, she will come back. But, you know, we all know about black cats. We've heard the myths, and black cats are definitely one of the most famous omens of death. We've all heard about it. We've all known about it. And they're found in folklore traditions all around the world. Now, there are many different ways that interacting with a black cat is seen as a sign of imminent danger or of the approaching death of either you or someone very close to you, a loved one. Now, an old German superstition states that if a black cat sits at the bedside or at the bed of a sick person, then this is a sign that they're due to die very soon. Yeah.
That's creepy.
I know, poor cats.
I know.
Now, a black cat, we know, crossing our path is meant to be very, very lucky, right?
Apparently so.
In England.
Yes. Yeah.
But in Scotland, it's very different. And it's believed that a black cat crossing your path is a sign that death is coming to someone in your family. It's interesting,
It
isn't
is very interesting. There's sort of one against the other like that. Yeah.
And it's also said that a black cat crossing the path of a funeral is a sign that a family member of the deceased will die very soon.
This is. I mean,
These poor cats.
I'm going to
are getting
avoid
a
these
bad
cats. They're the
press, aren't
plague.
they,
I can
huh?
tell you. Yeah.
Now, hearing the mewing of a black cat at midnight is another common superstition, and that's said to be an omen of someone's death.
How would you know if it's a black cat at midnight?
Exactly. How would you see it?
You're going to say it's like,
Right?
hang about. This is a bit unfair.
Oh, Izzy's back. You
I
can
just
probably
heard
hear
that.
a bell.
Yeah, I heard that
Because
bell.
we're talking about cats.
It's what it is.
Now, we can trace the roots of this superstition way, way, way back to ancient Greece. Hello, Izzy.
Hello, you.
And according to mythology, Zeus's wife, Hera, obviously the queen of the gods, turned her servant into a black cat as a punishment. This poor cat's getting a bad press. Now, he went on to become the assistant for Hecate, the goddess of witchcraft. Now, because of his association with witches and evil and bad stuff, black cats are still seen today as a sign of bad luck or even death. But the worst part, however, is that these superstitious omens have resulted in black cats being adopted significantly less than other cats. And that's really sad.
That is
isn't
really
it?
sad, yeah.
'Cause
To
there's no
think
actual
something like that, there's
proof
no
in
proof
this.
at all, but it's people like superstitions and rumours and
Poor
these
little
strange
kitty
stories.
cats.
Yeah, no one
So,
wants a little black cat.
Ladies and gents, if you're going to adopt a kitty cat after Christmas, go for a little black cat.
Get a black cat, yeah, and don't worry about all this nonsense we've just told you
No.
because none of it's true.
No, it's all pretend.
It is. We just made it all up.
Or did we?
I don't know. There you go. Let's talk about something else that cats like.
to eat.
Yeah, they certainly do. They do eat an awful lot of them, don't they? We're talking about birds, and birds are also known to be death omens.
They are indeed.
They are indeed.
Edgar Allan Poe actually wrote about the
Certainly
raven.
did, the raven, yes.
Have we got a clip of that?
I think we could put some on. I tell you what, we've got someone really cool reading a bit of it, so we'll pop him on.
Brilliant.
And you can see, guess who it is.
Okay. Cool.
Prophet, said I, thing of evil, prophet still, if bird or devil, by that heaven that bends above us, by that God we both adore. Tell this soul with sorrow laden, if within the distant Aidenn it shall clasp a sainted maiden whom the angels named Lenore. Clasp a rare and radiant maiden whom the angels named Lenore. Quoth the raven, nevermore.
There you go. So yeah, along those lines, I'm going to talk about crows rather than ravens. Crows are yet another famous omen of death or misfortune. Even in films today, it's not uncommon to have crows present in scenes that are meant to be dark, dangerous and foreboding. Seeing a single crow is believed to be an omen of bad luck rather than death. However, if you see a large group of 5 or more crows, also known as a murder of crows, this is believed to be an omen of the illness or death of yourself or someone you know. In the Middle Ages, people believed that witches used the crow as a symbol to cast death spells. It doesn't have to be a real crow either. If you dream about a solitary crow, this means death was coming for you too.
Blimey, O'Reilly.
I know. Poor crows.
Yeah, I know, right?
There we are. And see, this is a bird I really like.
Me too.
And it's like one of those when you think, no, I don't believe any of this because they can't possibly be associated with this. We're talking about owls. Owls are yet another bird that have an unfortunate reputation in folkloric superstitions. For example, if you're walking under a tree at night and you hear an owl hooting overhead, this is believed to be an omen that the family member is going to die soon. Now, this is great, isn't it? I've heard we hear owls all the time out where we are because we're sort of quite rural.
Have you ever seen an owl's legs?
What, when they're really funny, aren't they? They look really weird when you see a wet owl. They're like, ooh, got any long legs, funny
really
little
long
body.
legs, but they're just really hidden because of all their feathers.
Yeah, they look really odd, don't they?
Sorry,
That's
I
okay.
digress.
If an owl is perched on your rooftop, this is also a sign that death is coming for someone you know. If an owl hoots while flying past a sick person, it signals that the person will likely not recover from their illness. This is grim, isn't it? It's like dodge the owls to say, well, out of the way.
That's it.
There is also a belief that hearing an owl screech 3 times or having it land on your bedpost meant that death was going to happen. Land on your bedpost.
How would an owl land on your bedpost?
Or just flapping through the window going to land on that geezer's
Yeah,
bedpost.
right.
Honestly, I love these. They're so bonkers. There are even famously rumoured instances of owls foreshadowing death in history. It is believed that before the death of the Roman Emperor Antonius, an owl was seen perched above his bedroom door. Once again, like crows, you don't have to see a real owl to be a victim. Dreaming of owls means impending death for yourself or those close to you.
Goodness.
This is great, isn't it? So, but please, folks, don't think about owls after listening, because if you ever dream about an owl, I'm going to be very worried about you.
Oh, by the way, I just want to add, if you can hear purring, it's not me.
You sure?
Okay. It's not me, it's Izzy.
Yes, we have our little friend with us once again. She just doesn't want to miss out, does she? No. In fact, both owls and crows are closely associated with death in Celtic folklore, often being ambassadors for the gods of death and the underworld. So it makes sense that both owls and crows are known as messengers of death. It's not just owls and crows that can be bird harbingers of bad news. Any old bird can do it. A bird sitting on your bedroom windowsill and tapping on your glass could mean your death is nigh.
What about a chicken?
Oh, God. Prophetic death chicken.
Yeah.
That's a worry. I'm going to have to look that one up now.
Okay.
I know magpies. They says magpies
Yes.
are worse. There's lots of tales about magpies.
There is.
But chickens, I'm not so sure
No,
about.
I just wondered. Just
Okay.
popped on in there, sorry.
As it does with you.
Often with me.
Yes, I was going to say, yeah. A random chicken just popped in there. It's not just live birds that will get you. One old wives' tale formed during the 16th century's outbreak of witch trials warned that if a bird happens to fly into a window or wall and die, it's a very good indication that you can expect a fatality within the week. And dead birds reoccurring around you are also a sign of death and can be seen in many movies and stories as bad omens. You're looking up death chicken, aren't you?
Well, I am, because I think there is an omen about chickens. I mean, chickens were a spirit animal.
Well, they were seen as being prophetic birds.
We've seen, traditions all over the world, haven't we? Sacrificing chickens and things
Yeah.
like that. But it was actually considered a bad omen if a chicken refused to eat.
Well, that goes back to the podcast I did, Winner Winner Chicken Dinner, folks. If you want to go and listen to it, we actually talk about chickens being used as prophetic animals in Rome. And you were right; they were worried if they didn't eat, it was a bad sign. So, yeah.
So there's all sorts of things about chickens. I just wondered, because chickens have obviously been with us for thousands and thousands of years as a food source and sacrifice, and I just wondered if there was any particular omen. There's omens about giant roosters.
You know why this came
they
on, didn't
believe
it?
they're responsible for storms.
It's because you ate a chicken kebab, isn't it? That's what it is.
Oh, so did you.
I know. But you
Wasn't
got
just me.
I know, but you got chicken on the
Just
brain
me
now, haven't
sitting
you?
here with a very big tummy.
Oh,
It's you
God.
as well.
That was far too much.
But yes. Anyway, moving on from chickens.
Where were we? We're now going to go on to...
Can you guess, folks?
Love is like a butterfly, as soft and gentle as a sigh. The multicolored moods of love are like its satin wings.
Love is like a butterfly.
It is indeed.
We're going to talk about black butterflies. Now, the meaning and symbolism of black butterflies changes from one culture to another, but they're usually seen as a sign of impending doom and death, especially in places such as Brazil, Colombia, Central America, and also China. Well, that's probably because that's the only place you're going to see a black butterfly.
Yeah, they're not...
You're not going to see one in the UK, are you? Anyway,
I'm sorry. I was sharing around the world things.
Yeah, right.
We do get broadcasts around the world.
sharing is caring.
Indeedy.
Spotting a black butterfly in the house supposedly means that a member of that house would die. Although on rare occasions, black butterflies appear in the house after a family member has already died. Interesting. Could it be the soul
The
of
soul
the
of the
person?
person, yeah.
Now, according to the Celts, hang on a minute. The Celts?
Are back again.
No, but did we have black butterflies around then? The Celts.
Well, yeah, the Celts are all across Europe. They're not just here.
Well, yes, I know, but the black butterflies are usually found in hot climates, aren't they? The Celts weren't in hot climates, were they?
Stop arguing about Celts.
No, I'm just thinking about this out loud. Anyway, according to the Celts, black butterflies are the souls of deceased people. That's what I just said.
Could have been a moth.
A moth?
Oh, yeah, black moth.
A black moth?
They might have got moths and butterflies confused.
Why would you say that?
I don't know.
Why did all their slippers get eaten?
I was just thinking about
Anyway.
You throw me completely with your Celts and
Moving
black
on.
butterflies.
When a deceased person fails to find their place in the afterlife, they turn into black butterflies and sometimes return to the places they used to live. And again, in a hot climate, in Caribbean populations, spotting a beautiful black butterfly in the warmth that is really a witch means that someone has cast an evil spell on you.
That's nice.
Yeah, right.
You got to splat that butterfly.
But in Mexico, again, lovely warm climate, not like here.
You're having a pop at me about this, aren't you?
Well, you're not in charge of our climate. The black witch moth is known as the butterfly of death. Da, 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 da.
Butterfly of death.
It is believed that when the butterfly of death enters a sick person's house, that person will die.
Oh, no.
I nearly misread that and I thought that said enters a sick person. I thought it was turning into some kind of horror podcast. Anyway, In southern Texas, however, it is believed that a death occurs only if the butterfly visits all four corners of the house. Well, there's not many people that die in Texas then when they say butterfly. I mean, they're not, are they? They're not going to flippy flap over to one corner and then to another and then another one and another one, are they?
They might, if you can chase them out of the room. Okay.
Anyway, it's not all doom and gloom, because in beautiful Hawaii... Aloha. A black butterfly is an embodiment of a loved one who has come to say goodbye.
Oh, it's nice to finish on a nice one like that, isn't it?
I'd love to be in Hawaii right now.
Although I prefer the black butterfly death myself.
Sipping cocktails.
Oh,
by
stop
the
it.
sea.
There's a volcano erupting there at the moment, though.
Would you stop?
What? I'm just saying.
I'm trying to be relaxing and you're putting in volcanoes.
Well, it might be dangerous.
Goodness sake. Anyway, that leads you on to the next one, doesn't it, Mr. Death Watch?
Oh, yeah. Here we go. I like this one. It's
What, you
one.
might?
It's one of those ominous sounds. And it belongs to the Deathwatch beetle. Deathwatch beetles are pests.
Ah, see, it is your one, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I am a Deathwatch beetle.
No, you're a pest.
I'm a pest. Where am I? Yeah, Deathwatch beetles. Honestly,
Come on, they're known for damaging wooden furniture.
You might not have guessed that I'm trying to sort of read bits from a script here. Deathwatch beetles are pests that are known for damaging wooden furniture and the wooden structures of buildings. I knew I'd get there in the end. During mating season, here we go. Mature Deathwatch beetles make a tapping or ticking sounds by hitting their head against the wood to attract mates. We're talking about head-banging beetles! Put that music on.
Oh, gosh.
You know what? I tried headbanging in my youth to attract females and it doesn't work. They just look at you like an idiot. So, what the hell is he doing? I'm dancing in I.
Do you know the image in my head now?
It's not good, is it? I had longer hair in them days. The
You
sound
used to look like Billy Idol when you were young.
peroxide blonde, flat top.
you did.
Very strange, I know.
Anyway, back to the Beatles.
Where were we? Oh, the Beatles. Not those Beatles.
The Deathwatch Beatles.
Deathwatch Beatles, not Ringo, John, George, and I
No.
can't remember all the names.
John, Paul, George and Ringo.
That's the ones.
Yeah.
Okay, back to the headbanging Beatles making their tapping noise. I'm not sure whether that was a tapping noise. Actually, that's nothing like the tapping noise they make. But this sound is heard quite clearly on quiet nights in old houses. Over time, this sound became associated with sleepless nights that people spent beside a dying or dead person. As a result, the noise that Deathwatch Beetles make came to be interpreted as an omen of misfortune and death. You will also hear this death omen described as the sound of a ticking clock coming from the wall or piece of furniture.
What was that noise?
It's funny you should mention it, Jules, but it's said... that
Did you hear that,
I
though?
did hear that, the ticking.
Yeah.
Tick, tick, ticking.
Yeah.
Ticking clock of Saint Pasquale. It's what this is actually known as. Okay, it's said to be ticking away the last hours or minutes of someone's life. Saint Pasquale supposedly had the ability to feel the imminence of death by touching a door, something he developed while pursuing his profession as a doorman at a convent. Whilst we're on the subject of clocks, if your clock strikes 13,
Unlucky for some.
it could well be. It may just be an unreliable clock. It could be peeling out a death sentence for someone too. If your clock suddenly stops, your life just might do the same. And if a clock that has long been stopped starts to tick again, this is also thought to be a sign of impending misfortune or death.
There has been a lot of cases that I've read about where people that have owned a clock for years, when they pass away, the clock stops at the time of their death.
Yeah.
There's been lots of stories like that.
And they can't get them to restart as well.
Yeah.
I know.
Interesting.
It's creepy, isn't it?
So, our next one is something I absolutely adore.
You've actually got one.
I have. I wear one on my finger. Opals. I love opals. Now, throughout history, some stones were very prized and admired for their magical qualities, while others were denounced as vessels of evil. Oh, no.
Here we go.
Does this mean I've got to stop wearing my ring now?
Possibly. Read it though. I think if it's so bad
All
we
right.
actually get through
Now,
it.
opals were assigned to the latter category. Okay. Now, it was widely believed that witches and sorcerers used opals to increase their magical powers, and it was said that they sometimes even focused them like laser beams on the people they wished to harm. Look out, Nigel.
I'm going to watch you with that opal now, yeah.
Medieval Europeans tended to avoid opals because of their resemblance to the evil eye and their likeness to the eyes of cats, toads, and snakes. Now, an opal that was utterly contaminated with evil was said to be capable of maiming or even killing the person wearing it.
Nice.
Oh, Lord.
Yours is a nice opal.
Well, I think so,
It's
but I'm
lovely,
not
aren't
so
they?
sure now.
It's beautiful.
Now, as the Black Death spread across the whole of Europe back in the day, a great number of people began blaming opals for the numerous deaths that occurred, and it was noticed that opal-wearing victims of the Black Death had their opals turn brilliant, but just as quickly, that brilliance would soon disappear. Now, in reality, the stone had altered because of the change from the warmth of the fever to the chill of death. But people in those days believed that the stone had altered due to its evil influence on the victim's fate. So, the poor stone got a bad rep, and it was thus associated with the death of the victim, and wearing an opal soon became seen as an omen of death. Oh no.
I know. Hasn't put you off wearing it though, has it?
Well, it's pretty, isn't it?
It's gorgeous, yeah.
I feel sad now. It's an
We'll
omen
have to
of
put
death.
a picture of your opal ring up so everyone can actually see it, because it is really beautiful.
It's cute, isn't it?
And it sort of catches the light.
It reminds me of a galaxy,
Yeah.
or the ocean.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
Doesn't look evil at all.
Catches the light, doesn't it?
It
It's
does.
pretty.
Yeah, it's
Anyway,
nice. Sorry, we're just
The
distracted
next
by
one, Nige.
your ring there.
okay.
Oh, God, I walked into that.
So next one now, just going to be Death Knocks,
It's
isn't
going
it?
to be Death Knocks, it is.
Now, this is one you came across, wasn't it?
This is really quite interesting because when I researched in the Room 611 article that I wrote for Haunted magazine, I came across this superstition from Ireland. Okay, and according to this superstition, when 3 knocks are heard at the door and no one is there, it means that someone has died or is about to die. Yeah. So poor Ken in Room 611, lucky there wasn't 3 knocks at your door and there was a lot of knocks, because it could have been.
So it's not knock, knock, run. It's knock, 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 run.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. The 3 knocks are also sometimes known as the 3 knocks of doom in Ireland. The 3 knocks of doom at the door and window both represent an omen of death. In Scotland, the knocks are perceived as a sign of death. They come at regular intervals of 1 to 2 minutes in duration. So there's got to be a gap in between them, and then
Interesting.
yeah. Those who practice Wicca believe the knock of 3 represents blasphemy against the Holy Trinity. So Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's like the mark of 3, isn't it?
It
as
is,
well?
yeah.
Interesting, yeah.
Regardless of the belief system, the knock of 3 is a powerful symbol of the end times. It's also considered a symbol of death for those entrusted to the care of the 3 sisters of the underworld. Interesting.
Very interesting. Oh, doppelgangers. Now, these have always fascinated me, doppelgangers.
Yeah. And when you sort of think about it, you think, oh, I'd love to see someone who looks just like me. But then when you sort of
I think my dad had an experience with a doppelganger. I'm sure he said.
saw someone exactly like him.
Well, his own dad.
Oh.
After he passed, yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure he did. I might be wrong, but I'm sure he'd said to me
right.
once that after his dad passed away.
You then saw someone that looked exactly like him.
Yeah. But, it could
Well,
just
that's
be...
odd, because when you sort of get into the story of doppelgangers, that kind of, in a weird way, it kind of fits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Creepy.
Now, the word doppelganger means a double goer in German, and it's when someone's exact replica is born to different parents. So, if you spot your doppelganger out and about, this is a sign that your death was soon to come in German culture. The same is true if a friend or family member sees your doppelganger. Now, you might also hear of doppelgangers referred to as evil twins in folklore. And if you speak to your own evil twin, they'll try to trick you with sinister thoughts. They'll put bad ideas in your head, causing your demise. Now, the double as a death omen has been around for hundreds of years. Queen Elizabeth I was rumoured to have seen her doppelganger reclining in her bed looking pale and lifeless a few days before her own passing, and Abraham Lincoln actually told his wife that there's a doppelganger bell in the background, but as soon as he was elected president, he saw 2 of his own faces in the mirror. His wife then accurately predicted that the apparition meant that Lincoln would be elected to a second term, but would not survive it. Now, in Celtic folklore, there's a legend of a fairy creature known as a changeling, who would steal children and replace them with doubles, which became sickly and died within days. This explanation meant grieving parents could hold onto the belief their children were alive with the fairies somewhere.
Oh,
Gosh.
it's quite sad.
It really is quite sad, isn't it? But then, of course, fairies got a bad
I
reputation.
was going to say, yeah, stealing kids.
You know? I do believe in fairies. I do.
Peter Pan.
You guessed it.
I did indeed. Tinkerbell.
Cute fairy.
Well,
She was. She had a temper, though.
I was going to
didn't
say, yeah, she was a little bit.
she?
Yeah. Call you Tinkerbell.
Don't you dare. I haven't got wings.
You got a temper though.
Well,
It's true.
not very often, fortunately.
No, you're not so bad, are you? Okay, back to our Omens of Death. This is a cheery one, isn't it?
I know,
Oh,
right?
yeah. What are we like?
You picked it.
I know. Well, I just thought it was good at the time.
It's interesting.
It is very interesting, yeah. Where were we? Back to our Omens of Death, and
Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Can you guess what it is, folks? Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
you make it sound really lovely. But if I give it the title, what I've got here, Corpse Candles, not quite as twee, is it?
No, but did you gather what the music
I did,
was?
Will o' the Wisp.
It was, right.
It is, yeah.
Anyway,
The classic children's programme with Kenneth Williams.
very badly sung,
Yeah.
yes.
Well, that's okay. Well, I knew what it was. If you've been seeing mysterious lights following you around, death may be coming for you. Corpse candles, also known as Will o' the Wisps or Ignis Fatuus, are ominous, mysterious orbs or flames of light that can present themselves in blue, yellow or white colours. Science has explained this phenomenon as glowing balls of marsh gas, but there are also superstitions that the lights come from spirits. Now, I actually covered this story in another podcast called The Lantern Men.
You did, yeah.
I'd like to touch it again here because it's another sort of angle on it. So, these flickering lights that seem to hover were seen by folks from the window or while out walking. They were said to lead the souls of the dead to their resting place, with corpse candles heralding an oncoming bereavement. If you were very unlucky, the corpse candles would come towards your house, foreshadowing a death in the household.
I am never looking out my window at night time again.
Say,
Mind you, I don't live near a marsh, so I'm okay.
no, I'm quite safe where I am as well.
You're closer to a marsh than me.
I am, but there is the main road between me and the river, so
Fair point.
could be someone with a torch show, couldn't it?
Yeah.
Oh,
right.
God. I'm not looking out the window. Either way, it has been long believed that some corpse candles are death omens. They supposedly float over the home of a person who's going to perish, or fly partway between a sick person's home and their ultimate grave site.
So does that mean you don't actually have to see them then?
No, they just
Oh, well, that's
flit.
great then, isn't
It's
it?
even better, isn't it?
Brilliant.
I'm sorry about this.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I should never mention, should I?
Oh.
Corpse candles are even known to float over fishing boats, indicating that they will soon sink.
Blimey, O'Reilly.
I don't like them.
You're closer to fishing boats as
Oh,
well.
for goodness sake, will you stop it? Hey, are you trying to whisk me away or something?
No.
Oh, don't do it to me, Jules. Don't do it to me.
So, talking about blowing away or wishing away.
This is the weirdest one.
Yeah.
Honestly, we're going to tell you this one, but
I can't sing this one. But anyway.
It is bonkers.
Here we go. Fans.
Fans.
Yep. Fans.
Fans.
We don't have any fans, but we'll talk about the air blowing ones, aren't
That's right. The ones that sort of...
we? Yeah. That's it. Great sound effects, Nigel.
Excellent. I sounded just like
All
a
right.
fan, didn't I?
Brilliant. Now, surely, there can't be anything ominous about household fans, right?
You wouldn't have thought so, no.
They serve a practical purpose of cooling you down, right?
They do.
But this device could be more sinister. Oh, it has to be, doesn't it?
It has to be. Korea.
has
Here we
to
go.
be. Now, in Korea, it's thought that sleeping with a fan running and your windows closed caused imminent death. Okay. Now, when I just read that, I had it in my head somebody lying in bed sleeping with a fan, like in bed with them.
Yeah, holding on to it.
Yeah, right.
And then
But- Yeah. Bad image. Anyway, that's just me. Now, the Korean fan death myth is quite simple. When you sleep at night with an electric fan running, not in your bed,
No.
you might not wake up again in the morning. The fan will silently kill you in the night.
It's ridiculous.
It's insane.
It's brilliant.
Now, electric fans were introduced to Korea in the 1920s. And since then, what are these people on?
I've no idea.
Stories of asphyxiation, face paralysis and nausea have been repeated by the media and by the general public, ad nauseum, until the myth has seemingly become fact. The media, bless them, and their love for the truth, keep the myth alive by placing a few stories each summer telling the sad tale of another lost soul who has succumbed to the terror of Korean fan death. Dun, 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 dun. One such story, of many, is this one in the Korea Herald.
A man reportedly died on Monday morning after sleeping with an electric fan running. The 59-year-old victim, only known by his surname, Min, was found dead with the fan fixed directly at him. The Korea Herald, July 2011.
Now, if you chat with Koreans, they all repeat the same idea. Fans can and will kill you. Everyone seems to remember a story they heard of someone dying from a fan sometime in the past, but no one can actually give any details, aside from the obvious cause of death. The electric fan did it!
Guilty as charged.
Stories like these only help exacerbate the fear of fans and keep this curious urban legend alive in Korea. While some deaths have been linked to electric fans at night, the death was most likely caused by hypothermia or heat stress or underlying health problems. Thanks to stories like this, fans in Korea are now sold with warnings on them, and everyone has a timer as a life-saving feature.
That's just brilliant. That is honestly that. I love stories like that because they are so bonkers. They're
Nuts,
unbelievable.
isn't
It's
it?
completely insane. You
Do
wouldn't
you know
even
what,
think of
though? I'll
it.
tell you what, I'm going to think differently now in the summer when I put my fan on.
I'm not going to leave my fan on.
Gosh.
You never know.
No.
Yeah.
Help.
Now we sort of mentioned it,
All right.
we could be subjecting ourselves to the Korean death fan.
I'm not going to bed with my fan either.
not gonna
Not
know.
that I did anyway. I just want to put that out there. But don't look at me like that.
I'm not so sure. I have this image of you hugging it at bedtime.
Yeah, right.
Oh, my one and only fan.
Oh God.
Bless you. Now we're going to touch on some odd ones here. They're not really so much sort of death omens, harbingers, but they are. I think they could probably fall into the bracket of cryptid as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because they are sort of creature based, but really, really strange. So the first one I'm going to hit on is local. Blast me boy is a local one.
Where, boy?
It's our old friend Black Shuck.
Yeah, we all know the stories of Black Shuck.
Shuck.
Black Shuck is all the way around the coast, isn't he, in England? It's not just Norfolk.
It's not just us. He's all over the place. Black devil dog, red eyes, harbinger of death. You know, seen numerous times. I mean, we are going to go and tell his whole story, and we keep threatening to do it, but we want to go to the churches that he sort of appeared in, where the big things happened.
We did do something on it. I wrote an article, didn't I, for a magazine
You did,
a few
yeah,
years back
yeah,
about Black Shuck. It's
yeah.
quite interesting, but I didn't know there was a white shuck. Is there, Nigel?
There is indeed a white shuck, and strange as it may seem, it's a complete opposite of the black shuck. So whereupon black shuck is a harbinger, this white one is said to be a guardian of sorts. Okay, a white hellhound that is said to stalk a hill near St Boltoff's Church in Woodbridge in Suffolk. Witnesses have reported seeing a beast in the shape of a dog, pure white in colour and as big as a bullock, lurking close to the watery boggy areas of the land. Some people believe that white shuck, or grendel, or galley trot as it is known, is a church grim. It's a supernatural creature that's there to protect the buried corpses in the graveyard from things like devils and witches and all that kind of stuff.
Or maybe even Black Shuck.
And yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Being the
right.
direct opposite. Yeah, there to sort of stop the harbinger. Yeah, good point. Historically, it's said that dogs are often buried alive under a cornerstone in the church foundations as a foundation sacrificed, so that its ghost could serve as a guardian. So this one, rather than a harbinger, is actually there to protect.
But interestingly, there's even stories about Black Shuck protecting women as well. Even though Black Shuck was said to be the dog of Satan with the bright red eyes,
Yeah.
like glowing
Yeah,
coals and all
devil
that.
dog.
Devil dog. And so there's actually been stories of it protecting women, which is quite interesting. So
Yeah.
Black Shuck isn't always evil.
No.
But I think it's quite interesting because black is often associated with evil and white is associated with the light.
It's
isn't
exactly,
it?
yeah.
So yeah, it's quite
Yeah.
interesting how the white shuck has appeared.
Yeah, you've got this balance between the two.
Yeah, and Nige, you love this one, don't you?
This is the last one. There's two here. They're both harbingers of sorts, but they're both really, really strange creatures. We're hitting on cryptids as the last ones because we are hoping at some stage to get a cryptid expert on that we can have a chat with about various cryptid things. So,
Oh yes.
yeah,
He said he'd do it, didn't he?
he said he would do it.
Not
yeah.
going to say who it is yet.
No,
Oh,
because
no.
we're going to surprise you with that one.
Secrets.
Top secret. But here we go. These two here. I'm talking about, to start with, the Mothman, which always seemed really bonkers to me. A man who's a giant moth.
Yeah.
You know, it just, yeah, it's a funny one. But the story is, there's a film, wasn't there? The
There is.
Mothman Prophecies,
Yes,
wasn't
there
there?
is.
And it's well written about. So, what is it? Basically, he's native to Point Pleasant in West Virginia. The Mothman first appeared to a group of men digging a grave in 1966. Described as a winged, human-like creature with glowing red eyes, its presence coincided with the collapse of the Silver Bridge that caused the death of over 40 people. Since then, many have claimed to have seen the Mothman before major accidents, traumatic deaths and natural catastrophes. That was a bloody difficult word for me to get out, wasn't it? And the other one, did you want to do this one? Or?
Oh, the reports of the Black Bird of Chernobyl.
Yep.
Now, that started appearing months before the disaster in 1986, and it's actually quite relevant now, isn't
Yeah,
it,
it
with
is,
everything
yeah.
going on in Ukraine.
Yeah.
The creature shared the same characteristics as the Mothman, human-shaped, wings, covered in dark hair, and had glowing red eyes. Now, those that came across the bird got mysterious phone calls and suffered terrible nightmares. These sightings appeared every day until the early morning of April the 26th, when the reactor blew. Rescue workers and pilots, as we know, battled the flames and rescued residents of the nearby town of Pripyat, reported terrifying stories of a huge black figure flying from the destroyed reactor, circling the black smoke rising from it. Now this was the last time the black bird was reportedly sighted. Let's hope it doesn't reappear again.
Yeah, we really don't want to see that one again,
No,
do we?
that's it.
So there we go. A whole list of horrors from us. Death omens, harbingers, cheery things.
I hope you enjoyed it, guys.
Yeah, it was interesting. Some of those stories, you look at them and you think to yourself, this is just madness.
Well, the fans is a little bit mad.
The fans
isn't
is
it?
brilliant. Some of the other ones, they sort of go back sort of through history, and you can see why
Oh,
that
yeah.
people have associated it with these things.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, the fear that sort of goes with them.
Yeah, but poor little black cats, though.
I don't like the black cats one.
That's sad.
No. I think we should say to people, don't listen to the black cats.
I'm a cat person. Everybody knows I'm a cat.
You are very
cat
definitely
mommy.
a cat
I'm a
person.
cat mommy.
Yeah. You'd get a little black
So-
kitten if one came up, wouldn't you?
Oh, I would.
Yeah, certainly
I love
would.
cats. I'm actually thinking about getting another
I'm
cat.
looking for another one, yeah.
A kitten, yeah.
So we're going to have two of them interfering.
After Christmas, and not
every
buying
single
around
podcast that we do,
Christmas, but-
meowing and wandering around, bells ringing, creating chaos like the one does at the
know.
moment.
I
Yeah,
know.
there we go. That's all for this podcast for now. So, what can we say? Keep track of us. You know, we're all over the shop. We're on all forms of social media
You can find us on website.
at www.outtheregroup.net.
Everything's on there. You know, as Nigel said, we're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram.
We are. We have this podcast. We left the YouTube channel. We have a Substack newsletter that we started recently as
We're
well.
everywhere.
We are indeed.
You can't escape us.
We keep sharing
We're
our
out
tales
there.
of the paranormal. We are out there. And we'll be
good.
out there again
We
very
will.
soon.
And it's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from him. Goodbye.
Take care.